Hello, I am live now. Good morning, game changers. How are you today? It's a Monday and it's the 18th of May. We meet here again. Remember, we meet here 3 times in a day. I mean, in a week on Mondays at 10 a.m., uh, Wednesday at 10 a.m., Friday at 10 a.m., and Saturday is a Q&A, which is at 9 a.m. I'm happy to see that some people are already on the line. Welcome, Ntakopeng. Welcome, Bonolo. Good to see you here. How are you where you are? I'm here in Maung, and winter is slowly creeping, and I'm getting scared for myself because I have to go back to Gaborone soon. And I'm wondering if it's cold like this in Maung, what about in Gaborone? Am I going to survive the winter? But it's one of those that you can't run away from. So I just need to get prepared for the winter and make sure that I keep myself warm. And this goes to everyone who is here. If it's winter where you are, just make sure you keep yourself warm. Just make sure you keep up your health, you eat well, you exercise. I know when it's winter, most people say they take a break from exercise, and that's when we need it the most, so that we are able to keep the flu and all these winter-related illnesses at bay. So you just need to pivot and find an exercise that you can do in winter, maybe indoors, but continue the momentum. Don't stop and say you're gonna start after winter, because it becomes very hard to start after a very long time. Okay, morning, Dolph. Good to see you here. So let's just jump into today's conversation. I like to call these conversations, although most people don't engage, but these are conversations that we don't normally have with ourselves. We don't normally have with our loved ones. And sometimes we get angry or we get triggered when other people want to have them with us. But we want to get used to having these kind of conversations, allowing our minds to explore, perspective, to question what's really going on in our lives and what is it that we want, what do we need to change. So today I want us to look at, this whole week, we are going to look at the comfort zone. I know it's a very common word that everyone knows, everyone quotes every day. There are different, many quotes on comfort zone. If you can just get into Google and type comfort zone quotes, there are going to be so many. But the question is, if we are really aware of the comfort zone and how it keeps us stuck, why do we allow it to continue keeping us stuck? What is really going on? And what is this comfort zone, really? So that's what I want us to unpack. I will lead the conversation. You're going to continue it on your own, at home, in your head. But I'm going to just lead it so that we are able to unpack it and really understand what's really going on, so that you can know why, what you need to do to actually, challenge it, to actually move beyond the comfort zone. It's not just something that you can talk about and then tomorrow you are just taking one foot in the front of the other and say, now I've jumped over my comfort zone, I'm beyond it. There is a process. It requires a process because of the way it's actually structured, So this is something that we are familiar with, but the question is just for everyone who is here is, how comfortable is the comfort zone for you? It's very challenging sometimes when you are a practitioner of these things and you observe and you see yourself being challenged by them at the same time. So I think it becomes a bitter pill to swallow, but it kind of, when it comes so hard that it challenges you. You keep on saying, okay, this is what I'm saying with my clients, but I'm seeing myself, I'm also getting stuck. I'm also being comfortable. It requires real honesty for you to say, no, I'm comfortable, I'm playing small. I normally tell my clients in my high-end programs that, okay, as much as I'm doing what I'm doing, as much as you see me showing up, when I sit down and take an honest look at myself, there are areas where I feel like I'm comfortable. I need to stretch, I need to move, I need to do something differently. And that is what really being comfortable looks like. And that's what you need to be able to see. But because it's right in our subconscious mind, most people are not even aware that they are comfortable. because that is the way of life for them. That is how they've lived. That is how they've done things. So it's like it's just part of their normal life. Unless someone raises their level of awareness and make them the unconscious conscious, that's when they start feeling like, oh no, I don't think this is what I wanted. I don't think this is what I bargained for. I don't think I should be here right now, you know. So for all of us, the comfort zone may be very comfortable, but it's a bad spot to be, really, And as much as we can blame so many things for the results that we have, so many things for the life that we have, the truth is that the comfort zone is far, and away the single biggest dream killer of modern day life. It is the biggest single dream killer of modern day life. It's not about other people. It's not about whether you've got finances or not. It's just that you are being comfortable, where you are. And I want us to look at our comfort zone from this context. I want to place it around our results, and as a test to bring everything back to our results. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, the comfort zone that I'm in, how is that working for me? How is that working for me? Because we can spin so many stories about our lives and about things going around, but the question, how is this working for me, cuts through our story. It cuts right way to the truth of it, which is our results, because our results don't lie. They don't. And I love how Andrew Carnegie said that as I grow older, I pay less attention to what people say and more attention to what they do, because action leads to results. So we can talk and talk, but it is the result that separate the winners from the rest. So the question that you want to ask yourself is, your current comfort zone, how is it working for you in terms of the results that you are getting? So here, the result is the number of the game. So you're going to look at the results, because we all want to be happier. We all want to be healthier. We all want to be wealthy. We all want good relationships, with the people that we work with our loved ones. We all want to change the result that we are getting in one area of our lives. And this is going to be different, for everyone. It will be different for everyone, what it is that you really crave, what is it that you want. But we all want to change our results. Some people they don't want to be employees anymore. They want to start their own businesses. Some people have been in their businesses for way too long, and they are stuck at the same level. They want to scale the business. They want to grow it, But they are having challenges. They have the idea, but they're not getting out there to actually do it. So there are so many things. It could be money, like I talked about relationships. It could be your physical body. You know that you are not at your ideal body weight. You are overweight. You need to lose weight. It could be maybe you want to grow spiritually. Whatever it is, there is something. There is an area of your life that you want to improve, where you want better results. So why don't we get better results then? If that's what we want, what is stopping us from getting those results that we want? And it's interesting, but when we look at our results, most of us tend to see our result as a reflection of our potential. And it seems like a natural thing to do. We look at what we are currently achieving and we accept, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, that these results reflect not just what we are currently achieving, but all that we are ever capable of achieving. Unless you raise your level of awareness, you are going to think that your results reflect your true potential. Everyone will say that, because after all, we are not stupid. If we are capable of achieving more, surely we'd be doing it. Wouldn't we? We would be doing it if we were capable. So we kind of now start, pegging our results to what we are actually getting. And it becomes obvious that, no, this is just how far I can go, but that is not the truth, because we think that a lot of things are obvious. We think they are obvious results. And most of us, we come with these definitions, where we are getting normal results, and we come up with reasons why we are getting these average results, and it's probably the result that we dream of ourselves, but we find reasons why we are there. So if you find yourself slipping in, into this thinking trap, that you think you have to ask yourself, that's when you have to ask yourself, how is this working for me? How is this working for me? So what sort of life do I really love? And how many people do I know who are living that kind of life that I want? Then you'll see that you can actually, you can actually have that, But we want something more, because all of us want something more than what the average person on the street is getting. But we are not doing it. We are not getting it. And Elle Nightingale once said that most people order medium steaks, and then they go ahead and start living their life like their medium steaks, like that rare medium. So really, that is what we are driving at. And John Maxwell also looked at it with a quote. I can't remember that quote, but it was in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, where he said that a guy goes to a fortune teller and asks for his fortune to be told. And he says, you will be poor and miserable until you are 45. And he says, and then what happens? And he says, then you get used to it. Isn't that true? That we actually get used to the results that we get because we are comfortable. And eventually we stop trying, we stop wanting to change. And I think last week's special guest who was here, Wami, really shed light on this, because she knew what she wanted, but she was not doing it. And she was approaching 45, but still no change, nothing else. She had become very comfortable with what she was getting. But something nudged her and said, no, Wami. You said at 45, this is what you want. You said this is what you want, but you are not doing it. That is what led her to say, okay, maybe I need to get help. I've read the books. That's what she said. She said she has read all books, all self-help books. And she was even at Leah, where they were training people to run their businesses. And if you missed her interview and her Q&A, she said that one of the reasons why she applied to go and work at Leah was because she heard that Leah was developing business people, entrepreneurs, and training them. So she thought she would go there and learn so that she could start her own business, only to realize that the angle at which they were approaching it was actually different, So really, when we look at a comfort zone, like you will, you're gonna be poor and miserable until you are 45, and then you get used to it. It's kind of horrible and depressing to say it like that. But when we become really honest, we realize that that's exactly what most of us, go through. When it's like, but it creeps on us, gradually over the years, until we gradually accept the mediocrity, and then we switch our dreams and hopes to our children, which is what most people with kids do, because they think it's too late for us. But maybe my child can get it right, That's why we get parents say, no, I want you to become a doctor. I want you to become a pilot. I want you to become an accountant. Hey, parents, stop. Why didn't you do it yourself? If you think it is that good or that trendy. And that's why I normally say, no, parents, don't go there and want to fulfill your unfulfilled dreams through your kids. Allow your kids to dream for themselves, because it's their life at the end of the day. Whatever that they choose, they need to get stuck with. They get stuck with it. So imagine getting stuck with someone's choice and someone's decision. And that is not what you really want to do. So it's never really too late to decide that you are not going to settle, which is why I'm always inspired by people like Temi, people like Motswari, who are in this community, who are pensioners, but they decided that, or approaching pension, but they didn't say that, okay, now I'm too old, I'm just waiting to retire and go and eat my pension at home. They decided that, no, I want to do something about these remaining years of my life. I want to finish them strong, and I'm going to get out of this comfort zone, because then they realize that it's time for growth, and they need to be able to do that. And it's very interesting how the comfort zone creeps in us when we are not really aware. And sometimes when I was listening to a health audio, someone was talking about recent research relating to poisons in our food. And he said that small amounts of poisons are sometimes more dangerous than larger amounts because the body can pick up on large amounts and process them. But small amounts sneak under the radar. So they go unnoticed and build up over time, causing big problems. And that's exactly how the comfort zones creeps in our lives. It comes as small things that you are discontent about and you think, okay, I'll deal with it. I'll change it, and you don't. Relationships that are not working, and said, no, I don't want to rustle feathers. I don't want to upset people. And it keeps on building up. It keeps on building up until you are not able to, to handle it anymore. So this is really how the comfort zone kind of creeps up, for all of us. And we look at ourselves and think, how did I really end up here? Because it took a long time, it took a long time for us to get to where we are. And it was, happening behind the scenes. I always say it's like when someone chooses not to live a healthy lifestyle, they don't see the impact immediately. They think, no, I'm still fine. But something is happening and it's compounding. The moment the wake up call is when it has really compounded so high that now they start seeing the symptoms. And they want to reverse the symptoms, within a day. But the symptoms that has been building up for years. So you are not going to be able to do that in a day. So it's going to require a process to help you reverse whatever that it is. So all of these things, they really apply to all areas of our lives. They come in different ways, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships that are not working, whether you are not happy at work and you are still just becoming comfortable in that discomfort as if it's a part of you, And one of the challenges that we really see is because we then get into this self-defeating cycle of the poor. Self-defeating cycle of the poor is where you ask people who are getting the same result as you what they think you should do. You go to the same person who is getting the same result as you and ask them what you think they do. And sometimes before you ask someone what they think you should do, you should stop and ask yourself whether they are thinking, in the first place. And now, if they are not even thinking, what makes you think that they're going to be thinking something on your behalf? And when we think about our results from this perspective and asking, the same people, is that the majority of people are going the wrong way. They're also stuck as we are. They're also comfortable as we are. And if we take our lead, from those around us, they take comfort, in being part of the crowd. They take comfort in being part of the crowd, and they are not happy for you to jump and leave them where they are. So they're going to really help you to stay where you are. Their opinions are going to just bring you down into that comfort zone. And ultimately, you are going to find that everyone else is getting the same results. And that is how now we start getting so comfortable if we find that this is what everyone is doing. And we start comparing ourselves with other people who are getting the results that we are getting. So we want to really stop asking people who are getting the same results as us what they think we should do, because they don't even know what they think they should do themselves, Otherwise, we are going to really continue in that perpetual cycle, that's the self-defeating cycle of the poor, where you're asking someone who has never done something, who has never been there, you want their opinion, and if they don't give it to you or they don't say what you want, you get very angry at them, But they are not at the level where you are. They're not really thinking into things the way you are. So you want to really start shifting that to see how is it that, how does that work for me, and how can I actually change it, change so that I can get the result that I want, And that is really what settling for the comfort zone means, It's exactly what it means. So when you find yourself that you are not growing, you are not stretching, you are not reaching, you are not seeking, you are not taking the risk that you need to create the life that you want, you actually stop growing. And if you are not growing, what do you think is happening to us? We are shrinking. It's either you are growing or you are shrinking. It doesn't seem to matter what level you are stuck at. You could be earning, 50,000 per month, 100,000 per month. But if you are not growing from where you are stuck, and we all get stuck, at different levels. But the question is, do you want to continue being stuck where you are, or you want to, you want to move on? You want to get out of that stuckness, that comfort zone, and move out. And I just want to now look at the biology of the comfort zone. Really, what is the comfort zone, and how does it look like? What really keeps us so comfortable? I want to use the mind to explain that, because there are actually two big things that keep us comfortable. One, those are our habits and our beliefs. So our habits and our beliefs are two things that keep us comfortable. But first, you have to understand how they actually work and how they function in the brain. So I want you to draw or imagine a circle. Imagine a circle and then divide it into two. Draw a line in the middle of the circle so that we have the upper part of the circle and the bottom part of the circle. And label the upper part of the circle the conscious mind, and then the bottom part as the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is everything that we are aware of falls in the conscious mind. Everything that we are aware of falls in the conscious mind. The things that we just do, we know. But things that we are not currently aware of falls, under the subconscious mind. They fall under the subconscious mind. Let me see if I have a drawing so that I can refer you properly to that. So they fall under the subconscious mind. That is below. So these are things that you are not aware of. And this is the subconscious mind. This is where all our experiences are stored. Our childhood experiences, all the bad things that have happened to us, our emotions, our feelings, our wisdom, our self-esteem, our self-worth, all of those life experiences, they fall under the subconscious mind. And this is where we are not aware, but they are taking place under the scene, and driving our results, driving our actions. So unless you make these things that are in the subconscious mind, that are unconscious, unless you make them conscious, move them to the conscious mind, part of the mind, they continue ruling you without being aware that they are actually ruling you. They continue directing your life. It's like you are just in an automatic car that is set on autopilot, and you don't need to drive, but you are there. You are sitting on the steering wheel, but you are kind of not touching the steering wheel, but you are the one operating, the car. So that is why I'm saying that things that keep us in our comfort zone there are two things, that the habits. So habits are actually things that we do without needing to think about them. We have directed a lot of things to habit, so we do them without thinking. One, you brush your teeth, you don't even think about it. You wake up, you take your toothpaste, you do it. Driving is another example of habits that have been delegated to habit. You can still be driving and talking to someone on the phone, but you'll still arrive where you are going, because you have really learned how to drive, and you have directed the driving process to habit, so that it takes place because of that. A lot of the routines that we learn, maybe the healthy routines, some of them we delegate them to habit as well. And then the other thing that's keeping us stuck is actually, which I think is more dangerous than the habits, is actually the belief systems that we have. Beliefs are also stored in our subconscious mind. So beliefs are actually habits of thought. They are habits of thought. The other habits, they are habits of actions, but beliefs are habits of thoughts. They are internalized information in the subconscious mind that we don't even think about, but it is there, driving our actions, driving our thoughts, and our thoughts ended up driving our actions. So that is how it becomes all interrelated. So, and the challenging thing is that most of the beliefs and the inculturation that takes place in our lives happens when we are still very young, before our conscious faculties are formed. You know, at the age of less than 12, you know, before our conscious faculties have developed, and we are not able to reject them. So we just receive whatever that we are being told, whatever that we see. And especially when it comes to inculturation, which is a part of the culture, before we can actually decide and choose, you know, we become a product of our environment. And just those belief systems, those conditionings, you know, whatever that you can think about, you know, a lot of those habits and beliefs are programmed from our upbringing and our experiences. Our perceptions, they're also programmed. So beliefs are a result of a learning process and not the reflection of our reality. As much as we may think that that's our reality, but it's actually a result of the learning process, you know, some of the things that we have learned over time. Our expectations are programmed based on what we believe, on what we believe. Our opinions are actually programmed, you know, our convictions. So these are programmed, and they keep us exactly where we are in our comfort zone. So if you really want to change your comfort, to move from your comfort zone, it means you need to start, you know, re-evaluating some of your beliefs, some of your belief systems, and which is what Wami did. You know, when I was coaching Wami, she re-evaluated some of her belief systems, some of the conditioning that she was following all these years, and she realized that they are no longer serving her. And she decided that, you know what, I'm going to challenge some of these belief systems that are keeping me stuck, so that I can replace them, you know, with belief systems that will help me move forward to where you want to go. And this is where it gets interesting with the comfort zone and the subconscious mind, because unless you make the subconscious, you know, the unconscious conscious, it's going to continue ruling. But the moment that you make it conscious, then it requires you to take action on that consciousness and start doing things differently. But the tricky part is we are not trained to think and question these belief systems. And the ones that are stopping us, we normally call them limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those beliefs that are stopping you from moving forward and getting the things that you want. And with limiting beliefs, most of the time, we are not even aware unless someone questions you. And this is where coaching comes in, where someone really, you know, interrogates your belief system and or questions you, so that you look into your belief system and realize that this is not saving me, you know, anymore. This is holding me back from my greatness. This is stopping me from taking the action that I actually want to take. And once you are aware, you know, once you are sitting there and aware that I don't like the way that I look, I don't like the way that I show up at work, I don't like how I eat, I don't like my job, I don't like the way the business is sucking all the energy out of me. Once you are aware and you decide to just turn a blind eye and not do anything about it, that is where now it starts becoming stressful. You start becoming stressed out now because you have raised your level of consciousness. You are aware, you know that, you know what's possible. You know that there are options, there are possibilities. But the comfort zone through fear, which is another thing that stops people from moving forward, but is not as ingrained as habit and belief system. Where now the fear of what's to come stops you. And we will talk about it in one of our programs in the Shift Cafe. We talk about the terror barrier. So where now the terror barrier stops you, you know what's possible. You know you want to do it. But the terror barrier is going to stop you from jumping forward, because now fear sets in, because you need to challenge belief system, you need to rustle feathers, you need to invest in doing things different, you need to think. And one of the things that people really avoid, which when it comes to the comfort zone is not just working or exercise, it's thinking. We don't want to think, because thinking is what really exposes a lot of things. So most people avoid it. And that is why most people, when they start being the coaching process, they quit along the way. It's because it becomes uncomfortable when a coach asks them these questions that they don't want to confront, ask them these questions that they don't want to answer. So it's either they get triggered and feel like, no, this is bull. This is not working. This woman is just saying things because I'll be saying things that they don't want to hear. So they would rather stop and go back to people who are saying the same things that they want to hear, who are just feeding, feeding their egos and feeding the stories that they keep on telling themselves. Which is why one of the things, if you want to change your life, is to look at the stories that you are telling yourself and see, how can I change this story? How can I reframe it, so that it can give me the results that I actually want. So this is what I want us to look at. I wanted you to just look at what habits right now, what habits are keeping you stuck, what habits are keeping you stuck right now in your life. And just get to be very brutal, be very honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is stopping me from letting go of those habits if I know that they're keeping me stuck? And be honest, can I actually do it on my own, or do I need support to do that? Because sometimes we just lie to ourselves and think that we can do it. I normally ask people that if you have known and you have never done it for this past many years, what makes you think that you can just wake up tomorrow and actually do it, for yourself? So you may want to start really reflecting and looking into that. And then the other thing is to look at your beliefs. What beliefs do you have that are stopping you from getting the things that you want, doing the things that you want? Because like I said, most people have trouble distinguishing between what they believe and what reality is. What do you believe and what reality is? And like I mentioned, questions are a great way of digging into the subconscious mind to find out what we really believe and what is really reality. And our beliefs are a result of learning process. It's not necessarily a reflection of the reality. It's a learning process that we have gone through. And depending on how old you are and where you are, it may have taken so many years to learn those things. And likewise, it's going to take a long time to start challenging them and changing them. But the good thing is never too late to start. You can always go back. You can always go back and change them so that you start choosing belief systems that will support where you want to go and what you actually want to do. So also look at your belief systems. What belief systems, what conditioning do I have that is stopping me from moving forward? And it's going to be a lot of things. It's going to be culture. It's going to be what you saw people doing when you were growing up, what you see people around you doing. So just look at it, make an inventory and go one by one and really challenge them and see whether if you continue doing things the same way, if you continue believing the same way you are believing, if you are going to actually move into getting the things that you want in your life. So there is actually, because of this, there's actually a process, to change. And that's what we look at on Wednesday. We will look at the process of change, and what do you really need to do if you want to start challenging your comfort zone, you want to move beyond your comfort zone, you want to make a lot of things that are unconscious, in your mind, you want to bring them to the conscious level so that you are able to deal with them and move out of your comfort zone. So otherwise, we're going to continue quoting and talking about the comfort zone, but not doing anything about it, because the comfort zone is very comfortable, but it's not a good place to be. It sucks. To be honest, it really sucks. But the question is, why do we continue loving it and continue enjoying it when it actually sucks? And the answer is because it requires a lot of work to get out of the comfort zone, and it's not lifting weights or doing any exercises. The work is thinking. The work is thinking into your results, and that is why when we are in a coaching conversations, normally when people say some things that I don't think they are a reflection of what they say, I continue asking them more questions so that they can think into their results. And sometimes they're uncomfortable, but it's a worthwhile exercise to allow that questioning and interrogation to actually take place, because that is the beginning. That is how you can start moving, beyond your comfort zone. You can't just wish it and like Father Christmas coming with present at Christmas, and then you are hola, I'm out of my comfort zone. You need to do the inner work. So on Wednesday, we will look at the change process. It's actually like it's a 7-step process, and see what does it look like, and you'll see where are you in that change process, and what do you need to do to embark on your own process of change. So I think that's where I'll stop. We are at 31 minutes. It's supposed to be 30 minutes. So I'll stop there. There are people here, and today now everyone is quiet. I don't know why they've gone quiet on me. They just said money, money, and that's it. So what's going on? Why are you so quiet today? Yeah, every time when you challenge people to be thinking into their result of themselves, then they'll go quiet on you. But anyway, thank you for the attendance, and for listening in. I think you are processing everything. Put down your comments, below the video. I will jump in and respond to them. Otherwise, thank you so much, and have a great week as we prepare for the end of lockdown here in Botswana. We will at least, get the freedom to move around, in our zone without needing a permit, without saying, "Please, teacher, may I go to the shops? Please, teacher, may I go to the hospital? So may I go to work?" So at least we are gradually, getting back that freedom. Okay, Mara is saying we are still processing. Okay, thank you, Mara. Yeah, so all the best, and enjoy the week as we transition on to this new normal. Thank you very much.